evening and welcome to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates and my opinions. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. We are on the way to 11,400 subscribers, and if you could click the like button, I would be incredibly grateful. The countdown was there again. I am definitely going to get a better countdown than that one, but look, there's loads of you here. It's a Friday evening. It's a Friday evening ahead of one of the biggest weekends for an English football fan that I can remember. So it's a combination of nerves and excitement. But like I said, loads of you here. There's lots to talk about today as well. Anu Brata, Vivi Vlad, King Kai, Manrasta, Baba Wealth, Emil, Hyper, Woodsy, Jack Sachs, Oslo, Guna, Typical Puma, Hannah, Lukey, Ethan, Sam, Matthew, Ian, Creeper, and many, many more. It is good to see you all. I hope you are all doing very, very well. Nathan says, how are you tonight? I'm good. I'm good. Going to the cinema later. Just enjoying life, you know? Enjoying life. And for the first time in a little while, Viktor Gyokeres is on the thumbnail. Viktor Gyokeres is on the thumbnail. Choo-choo! We're back in action, baby. The steam train is moving. It's not becoming a theme of this lateness. I wasn't late. I played the intro so that, you know, because people complain about the ads, you see. By the way, if you remember, I don't think you get ads. That might be a complete lie. So I don't know either way. Have you seen that Felix rumours just came out? To Arsenal? Felix who? Felix who? But better not be bloody Joao Felix, I'll tell you that. I haven't seen this at all. So no. Felix Baumgartner? I'd rather Felix Baumgartner, to be quite honest with you. What are we doing here? Felix. I don't think that's even his name. I think Felix Baumgartner's not even a footballer. Felix Amecha? Just actual Joao Felix. Actual Joao Felix. I've not seen this. Sorry. 2 seconds. What the hell are we doing? Matteo, so this is coming from Matteo Moretto. It's true that inquiries for Felix arriving at Jorge Mendes' door are from various clubs, asking his agent as opposed to Atletico Madrid. There are Premier League sides. There's Benfica who have inquired, but right now not much movement. Is there anything that's actually linking him to Arsenal? Some Spanish outlet. Arsenal are interested in securing the signing of Joao Felix, according to journalist. Okay, but Matteo Moretto's not mentioned Arsenal specifically, as far as I can tell. I don't know. Felix Baumgartner's the space dive guy? Yeah, that's the guy. Felix Baumgartner was the one that jumped from, like, the edge of space. And I'd rather him, to be quite honest with you. Probably on lower wages as well. But no, well, we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen. I would be very, very surprised if that happened. I have to say. Anyway, look, some of the things that happened today, we'll rattle off the easy news to start with. Fabrizio Romano, total agreements reached for Nuno Tavares from Arsenal to Lazio. The player will travel to Italy this weekend. Arsenal will receive a €9 million loan with mandatory buy clause and salon clause. So basically, he'll be on loan at Lazio this season. They'll be covering his wages and everything. Then next season, they will be forced into buying him for €9 million. And then if they ever sell him, we will have a chunk of that money that they sell him for as well. David Ornstein, Arsenal have a 25% sell-on clause in Sambi Lokonga's loan move to Sevilla. If it's made permanent, Fiorentina had prepared a higher bid, but the player wanted Sevilla, 12 million buy option. So this one, look, on Lokonga, I don't really get it. We spent ages negotiating to make it a mandatory buy clause, like the mandatory buy clause with Nuno Tavares to Lazio, and then we didn't get a mandatory buy clause. So there's a buy option for €12 million. And if Sevilla were to trigger that buy option next summer, we would then, in that move, have a sell-on clause. But they might not trigger it. They might not want him. And I just find it a bit odd. Because, well, it'd be interesting to know what Fiorentina's bid was. So Fiorentina had prepared a higher bid, but Sambi Lokonga wanted to go to Sevilla. Presumably, he'd rather live in Spain than in Italy. Bit of an interesting one. But honestly, the Tavares deal's a good bit of business from us. Not a fan of the option for Sambi. We much prefer it to be mandatory. Yeah, I think the Nuno one's fine. The Nuno one, we make back our money, no problem, and maybe we make a little bit more in the future with the Salon clause. I don't mind Nuno at all. The Sambi one a little bit less ideal, to be honest. Get the likes up, yeah. Come on, there's over 200 of you in here. If we're not on 100 likes, that means over 50% of you are just absolute slackers on a Friday night. Come on, you've got it in you. What movie are you watching? Great question. Something about going to space. So is there a film at the moment on about going to space? The moon. Going to the moon, I think. Something like that. Anyway, that's what I'm watching. What's happening with the Calafiori signing? Your guess is as good as mine. We're already on 75. You'll love to see it. We're on 75 likes. Come on, 25 more. What's happening with Calafiori? It's dragging its feet. Arsenal are trying to hash it out. There was a thing today, to be fair, Mikel Arteta has been honest about the fact that the PSR rules are slowing everything down. Everything is a little bit more slow because of the PSR rules. Effectively, teams are all just being a lot more conservative. Teams are really counting their pennies at this point, and that is making things a little bit slower. So, but it's taking its time. There's no indication it's not going to happen or that there's going to be any problems. Calafiori himself is on holiday. Fly me to the moon. Fly me to the moon sounds like the correct one. Yeah, that sounds right. That does sound right. Edu's on it. Yeah, Edu's turned off the barbecue and he's whipped out the slow cooker. And to be quite honest with you, that's never enjoyable. That's never enjoyable. When you're getting ready to go to school and the slow cooker's already out and you're thinking, God, I'm coming home to some shit. You just know it. Whereas on a sunny day, Dad's wheeled out the barbecue ready for later. At that point, you're cooking. Slow cooker, bad news. We're the only one in for Calafiori now, so no reason to overpay. Yeah, exactly. And this is one thing that Arsenal have done well. Arsenal have done well at getting players to commit to Arsenal before the negotiation's done, because it puts pressure on the selling club to get that deal done. So say what you want about the PSR, but it's brought sanity to the transfer market. Yeah, that is true. That it has brought a bit of sanity to it. Would you change the PSR rules? And if so, what would you change about them? To be honest, that's one. I mean, I remember on Mo's channel with like Nobbins and that, we were talking about that for about an hour about what the solution is. Ultimately, there's not a solution when you've got as many bad actors in the Premier League as we have. There is no solution whereby the richest and dirtiest owners, whether that is Clearlake and Bowley and that lot, whether that's City's owners, whoever, there is no situation where they will not try and get around it. There is always going to be this cat and mouse game between the Premier League and between them. So there's honestly no way of doing it fairly. So I don't know what the solution is. But right now, it seems like it's doing quite a good job in terms of the way that certain clubs have got into line. It actually came out yesterday that Chelsea, right before the PSR deadline, sold their women's team to themselves. They sold the entire women's team to themselves to get clear of PSR, which is just insane. But so there are still big issues with it. The contract for Calafiori is so cheap that even if we pay an extra $1 million transfer fee, we're probably saving $5 million a year in salary on Calafiori compared to Premier League wages. Not quite $5 million a year on wages. We will be set as, if you say it's like $50K a week, that's what, like $2.5 million a year. But you are right. But equally, if we give in to what they want, then that makes us look weak. So we'll find the right deal eventually. Arteta's vision for an awesome defense is great. I agree. Arsenal needs to see Gyokeres potential already. Well, look, so this is the Gyokeres news, right? Now, before we get into it, this is coming from TBR Football. Okay. On the source rating, it's not looking good. It is not. It's barely a source. It's more like salt. It's a condiment. It's not really a sauce. But they have said Arsenal and Chelsea are among the clubs that retain an interest in Viktor Gyokeres. Sources with knowledge of the situation have told TBR that the belief is that Sporting CP could now consider a deal close to 60 million for the player. So according to TBR Football, stock cube. That is great. It's more like a stock cube than an actual source. But if you have to get by on stock cubes, you will get by on stock cubes. Arsenal and Chelsea retain an interest, and supposedly Sporting could consider a deal close to 60 million. Now, if you're getting down into the region of 60 million, that is value. That's value. At that point, that's better value than Sesko at that point. So if that's true, and I'm just gonna believe it's true for the sake of the Gyokeres. The Gyokeres train needed a morale boost, all right? Everyone was flagging a bit. It was all a bit doom and gloom. We were still going. We were still on the tracks. There was still, there was movement, but it was stale. Now we're having a party. We're having a bit of a morale boosting party. How do Chelsea get away with FFP rules? They don't. The way they're getting away with it at the moment is that it's all just stuff that's adding up to eventually. It's all adding up in the same way it was all adding up for Man City until eventually they had 115 charges. I do genuinely think the Premier League will come down on them at some point. It's just the speed at which Chelsea are doing things is difficult. Technically, they've still not even had the okay for the hotels that they sold to themselves, but they've already done it. So it's a weird one. If Gyokeres goes to Chelsea to play Conference League, I'll be shocked. Sporting is playing Champions League, so he should stay there. Yeah, I agree. If 60 million is on the table, Arsenal should set up a GoFundMe and Rory watchers will buy him ourselves. That's the incredible value. That's incredible value at that price. We would be crazy not to do it. Well, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you, if the chat are capable of raising 60 million for Gyokeres, throw in an extra 10k for me, just for the sake of it, if you will. A transaction fee. As the conductor of the train, just like tipping the conductor. When you tip people for doing a good job. Well, I'll take it. Other news today. Well, so this is the other one on the thumbnail. Mikel Merino, who, let's be real, we've been a little bit impressed with. Him. Enjoyed his cameos at the Euros. And this is coming from Team News and Ticks, so it is a good source. Arsenal have inquired about Mikel Merino's availability and how much he would cost if he were to leave Real Sociedad this summer. However, it is unlikely that there will be any movement until after Euro 2024. So, that is clarification that Arsenal are genuinely interested in Mikel Merino. We spoke yesterday about the fact that it's looking more and more like he is going to leave the club. Who was it that said it yesterday? Who said it yesterday? Someone said it yesterday, or was it the day before that someone said it? Someone said it. Marker. Yeah, Marker said it a couple of days ago that he's got 1 year left on his contract. Doesn't look like he's renewing it. So Arsenal are genuinely interested in Merino. Now, I think, and I still think, he's a good depth option. I don't think he comes in and starts. That is still my feeling. I can't imagine that we would solve our midfield issues by spending... I mean, he's going to cost what, like 20, 30 million max? That's surely not going to be the only midfielder that we go and sign. Someone asked previously about the mystery German. We still don't know who the mystery German is. Is Xhaka and Merino similar players? Don't know much about Merino. They're kind of aesthetically, they're similar, right? Because they're quite tall. They're not massively mobile. They're both left-footed. Both got an eye for a pass. We've reached 120 likes. You'll love to see it. Absolutely flying. Nearly 300 of you here as well. Subscribe. If you've not already subscribed, then do that as well. Sensational. So yeah, there are similarities to Xhaka in that sense. I mean, he's an unbelievable duel winner. He won more duels than any player in the entirety of Europe last season, or Europe's top 7 leagues. He's unbelievable in the air. I mean, Xhaka was decent in the air, but Merino is like an absolute monster in the air. So look, I do genuinely believe he would be a good squad player. If we had, he could basically, he replaces like the El Neni / Sambi Lokonga player in the squad. And if you're going from El Neni to Merino, that's a huge upgrade. The other thing that we then need to do is effectively replace Thomas Partey. If Thomas Partey leaves, and even if he doesn't leave, we'll still need that player for when Partey leaves the following summer. So that's the big one. And Partey to Merino is not an upgrade. It's a downgrade. Like, Partey to Merino is a downgrade, in my opinion. Merino probably keeps. Actually, I've not checked. What's Merino's injury history like? I've literally no idea what his injury history is like before I start comparing him to Thomas Partey. Did you see that Liam Delap went for 1 million, not 15 million? Oh shit, really? I didn't see that. Where have you seen that? I hadn't seen that. Yeah, okay, 1 million makes that far more palatable. Okay, his injury history's good. He missed 2 games in total last season with a calf injury, but that was like a minor calf strain. Season before that, he missed 4 games, but it was literally just 1 hamstring injury. Season before that, he missed 6 games with a hamstring injury. Didn't miss any games in 2021. Missed 1 game in 1920. Yeah, he's pretty solid, to be fair. His injury history is pretty solid. I mean, in a decade, he's had like 10 injuries, and not a single one of those injuries has kept him out for more than 53 days. So, yeah, that's not a bad injury history. I might be easily persuaded, but the more I research Merino, the more I like him. Sell Partey, getting Merino and bringing a top midfielder too might be a slight downgrade on skills, but available. Yeah, I agree. That's what I would do. I would bring in Merino and bring in an elite midfielder, and then you've effectively got Rice, Jorginho, Merino, and one more. And I think that'd be very, very good. Would you drop Kane for Watkins on Sunday? Yeah. Or Tony. Don't really care. He's never going to get dropped. It makes no difference what I think. He's definitely not going to get dropped. But what would your ideal signing as Saka backup? I still like Johan Bakayoko. Pedro Neto I'd be very happy with. Yeah. That's about it, really. You don't need to spam the question too much, Harry. Did I miss the Gyokeres train in motion? Yes, you did. No, basically, TBR Football believed that Sporting could consider a deal close to 60 million for Gyokeres, and Arsenal and Chelsea remain interested. Did you see Bakayoko could go to Saudi? I did see that, yeah. Saudi are back in action, by the way. The Saudi teams have now been allocated their money from PIF. So the Public Investment Fund, they're the ones that distribute the money to all of the clubs. The Saudi teams now have their budgets. And Moussa Diaby is seemingly going from Aston Villa. And I mean, this is the pull. Saudi do still have that pull, by the way, because no worries, Harry. Diaby, just turned 25 years old, right? In his prime, like literally hitting his absolute prime years. He's had 1 year at Aston Villa. He's helped them get to the Champions League. So he is now a Premier League, Champions League player in his prime. And he's going to go to Saudi. So they do still have the pull. Now, if Thomas Partey could start learning, a bit of Arabic, that would be sensational. If they could come in for him. I mean, I can't see any of our other players going there. I can't see Eddie going there. I can't see Reece Nelson going there. But Thomas Partey, come on. Come and collect him. The mystery German is Musiala. Just keeping the hopes alive. Yeah, dream on. He was also linked to Saudi last season. Yeah, Moussa Diaby was, yeah. But yeah, so apparently one of the teams, can't remember who it was, Al Hilal, Al Ittihad, one of them. One of them's interested in Johan Bakayoko, which would be frustrating. Speaking of Spurs, I heard a stat that 80% of Euro own goals were conceded by Spurs / former Spurs players. Don't doubt it's true, but want to believe it. I might look into it because it would be quite funny. I don't know. Boardsy, good to see you. Did you see Theo's coming with us to America? Yes, Theo Walcott is going to America for the preseason tour. We have found our Bukayo Saka backup, and he was here all along. No, I don't. To be fair, I saw that he's going. I didn't even actually look at what it is he's doing. Presumably, he's not playing. Presumably, this is like a coaching role or something. Do Saudi teams all get the same budget? No. Saudi teams don't get the same budget. So, yeah, they're allocated their budgets because really, it's only like the top 7 teams in Saudi that have got big budgets. The rest of them don't at all. Spurs own goals is perfect TikTok content. Yeah, that's a TikTok banger if it's true. If it's true, I'm sending that tonight. But no, yeah, it's yeah, they all have different budgets. So like Al Ittihad, who are getting Moussa Diaby, their star player is Benzema, and apparently, basically, Benzema hated it all of last season. He didn't like the manager. He just wasn't enjoying it. I think he basically stopped playing. And obviously, that is a bad investment for the Saudi League if that happens. So this summer, Al Ittihad have basically gone, right, Benzema, who do you want? And he's just building the team. So he wanted like Kingsley Coman, Awar, Diaby. He's basically just going to build his own team. It's insane. Isn't half of the Saudi teams owned by the PIF? They basically all are. They're basically all owned by PIF. But instead of spreading the budgets to every team equally, which would mean that none of them would be able to buy the biggest stars, they distribute it to the kind of big 7 mainly, which is like Al Nazir, Al Ittihad, Al Hilal. I can't remember the rest of it. Al Ettifaq, Gerrard's team. We may actually win the Euros because there are 0 Spurs players in the squad. No surprise. It's true. Anyway, some other news from today. Mike Verwey, who is tier 1 source, absolute top source. He is Nando's Peri Peri for Ajax, has said that Arsenal have made an offer worth €400,000 plus bonuses for Ajax's 18-year-old goalkeeper, Tommy Setford. Both clubs will continue negotiations in the coming days. So another goalkeeper that we're in for, Mikel Arteta does have a fetish at this point. He is collecting every goalkeeper he possibly can. And this is, I mean, we bought one keeper this summer, technically, in David Raya. We bought Nygaard for the academy earlier this summer. We've bid for Dan Bentley. Apparently, we really do want Joan Garcia from Espanyol. We've now made a bid for Tommy Setford, who's an 18-year-old English goalkeeper that's out at the Ajax Academy. Now, interestingly on this, right, people assume that because he's English, he is automatically, homegrown, right? People just assume if you're English, you're homegrown. That's not how it works. Like, the actual homegrown rules are completely to do with being registered to an FA registered club, an English FA registered club, for 3 years before the season in which you turn 21, right? So that's why Saliba is homegrown. That's why Martinelli is homegrown. This kid, Tommy Setford, if he doesn't come back to England this summer, he will miss out on that. If he doesn't come back to England this summer, he will never be able to be homegrown. Yeah, Bellerin was homegrown. He will never be able to be homegrown if he doesn't come now. So it's actually an interesting thing. Yeah, Carl Hayne is homegrown because he's been here for that long. So lots of our non-English players are homegrown if they've been here long enough. He won't be. So it's actually in his interest because obviously we know homegrown players are much more desirable for Premier League clubs. So if he wants that tag, he needs to come now because he's 18 at this point. So 3 years till he's 21, he has to come now. Again, it's another one that will go to the academy. Basically, I mean, Gunnerblog did an article with The Athletic today talking about the goalkeeper situation. And effectively, Arsenal's ambition is Carl Hayne goes out on a good loan. So it was confirmed that Carl Hayne only signed a new contract because he was guaranteed that he will be given a good loan. Raya is our number one. They want to sell Aaron Ramsdale for about 30 million. They want to bring in Joan Garcia to replace Ramsdale. So Joan Garcia, who's that Espanyol keeper, he's about 23 years old. He would then become our second choice. And they want Dan Bentley to be the third choice. Now, according to Sports Pito, I mean, that's a footy insider source, so it's not great, but it's probably true. Arsenal are preparing to submit an increased bid to sign Dan Bentley from Wolves. Sources have told Football Insider. Arsenal goalkeeper coach Inaki Kanya is keen for the club to sign Bentley due to their pre-existing relationship. So, the situation we'll end up with Raya, Joan Garcia, Bentley. as 1, 2, and 3. That's what they want. Because I think, by the way, is David Raya homegrown? Is David Raya homegrown? When did he move to the? So he's 28 now. So he needed to move 10 years ago. Oh yeah, yeah. So David Raya's homegrown, right? Because he came up at Blackburn's academy. So Raya's homegrown anyway, which is good. But yeah, so that's the dream. And then obviously you'll have, so because Carl Hayne will go out on loan, the feeling is that this kid, Tommy Setford, the 18-year-old, would be our academy keeper, right? He'd be the number one academy keeper. I think he's seen as being better than Nygaard, who came from Norway. Like, he is like genuinely touted. And I mean, 400k on an 18-year-old goalkeeper is quite a lot. So that's basically the plan. That is basically the plan. And obviously, in fairness, we did lose quite a lot of academy goalkeepers this summer. We lost like 6 academy goalkeepers this summer. So we do need to replace them, and that's what we're doing. Why does being homegrown matter? Because there's a homegrown quota. So your squad, I always forget, is it 8 or 7? How many homegrown players for Premier League? So yeah, basically you need to have, so your 25-man squad must contain 8 homegrown players. So when we announce our Premier League squad for the season, which is 25 players, 8 of them have to qualify as homegrown, which is why it's important, especially for us right now, because we're looking at losing Nketiah, who's homegrown, Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, Aaron Ramsdale, all of those are homegrown. Then we have to make sure that we've got those players. We've got an MHF raid. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. What legends. What legends. What legends. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mo. I assume it's Mo that sent them over. Big up MHF. Look at it. We've got a record. We have a record viewership. We're on 439 viewers. That is the first time we've cleared 400 viewers. If you could subscribe and click like on the stream whilst you're here, that would be sensational. The frauds are in. All of the frauds. All of the 500. We're up to 500 viewers. That is a massive record for the stream. Mo, Hussam, thank you very, very much. All of the frauds are coming. All of the frauds are coming. We're currently, if you want to know what we're talking about at the moment, we're currently talking about Arsenal's academy goalkeepers. So, you get everything at Arsenal Football Club when you come to the Rory Talks Football channel, because we are talking about the Arsenal academy goalkeeper situation. The Ajax goalkeeper can't be homegrown, as he will not hit 21 before the 3rd season. He will be 21 in his 3rd season, meaning he won't have 3 full seasons as registered. No, so Ross, it's by the end of the season that they turn 21. So they have to have 3 full seasons by the end of the season in which they turn 21. So he'll turn 21 in the 3rd season. So it will count if he plays the whole of that 3rd season. Mo, this is Footy Judge Mo. If you're not already, subscribe to Footy Judge Mo. Subscribe to the MHF channel as well. They are absolute legends. They are absolute legends. Vlad, you're fooling no one, buddy. You are fooling no one. Look, it's literally over 500. If you could hit the like button, let's make this the most liked stream that we have on the channel. Big up Mo and Hussam, absolutely. Emi Martinez homegrown. Yeah, Emi Martinez was homegrown. So as it stands, we've got David Raya is homegrown, Ben White is homegrown, Saliba is homegrown. Technically Kieran Tierney's homegrown. Oh, actually, is Kieran Tierney homegrown? Maybe not, right? Because he's Scottish. Declan Rice is homegrown. Obviously, Smith Rowe, Eddie, Reece. Martinelli's homegrown. Who am I missing? I said Ben White, didn't I? I've got to be missing some people. We're on 240 likes. Sensational. Absolutely sensational. We need to tell them about the Luton. The Luton preview stream was absolute heritage. The Luton preview stream was absolute heritage. Another bit of news today. Anyway, Saka. Obviously, Saka. Another bit of news today. Crystal Palace are determined not to sell Eze to Tottenham or Man United. So that could open the door. Yeah, Crystal Palace. Presumably, that's because Crystal Palace think they'll be competing with Tottenham and Man United next season. You don't want to sell to your rivals. You don't want to sell to your competition. Presumably, Crystal Palace are thinking we can push top 7. We can push for those European spots, and we're probably going to be fighting around that area with Man United and with Tottenham. So they're not going to sell Eze if they can avoid it to Man United or Tottenham. So that could make it easier for us to sign Eze. We don't need Eze. I hope we stay away from Eze. Are you crazy? I really want Eze as a versatile option. In games where we're free to attack, he can play as the left 8, which he's done a lot for Crystal Palace. He can play off the left wing. I mean, in terms of taking a man on, there is no one in our squad that can so easily take the ball past someone as Eze. I think other than him being slightly older and his injury history not being perfect, I think Eze's fantastic. If you can get him for like 50, 60 million, I think it would be very good. Eze and Smith Rowe are pretty similar. They are. But, I mean, Smith Rowe to Fulham sounds more and more like it's going to happen. So, Eze is the English Ronaldinho. I mean, not quite, but I would love Eze. Lots of options. Yeah, the versatility, I love it. I'm not sure he's an upgrade on Smith Rowe. He is an upgrade on Smith Rowe. He just is an upgrade on Smith Rowe. I think he's arguably a better player. And I think I just think Smith Rowe has to prove himself again. He has to prove that he's capable of doing what he did in 2021. Fat Tony, thank you very, very much for the $4.99 super chat. He said, let's repeat the Luton preview, run up the likes, subs, and call AFC Max. Yeah, without AFC Max, I don't think we're going to be able to repeat the Luton preview. But no, Fat Tony, I massively do appreciate that. That is incredibly generous of you. We need AFC Max back. Where's all the Eze hate come from? The lad is unreal. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Smith Rowe had injuries that let him down. He did, and they came at bad times as well. Those injuries did come at unfortunate times for him. Palace are crazy. I think United will be competing for 4th, 5th, and 6th spots. Maybe, but maybe Palace think that they can do that. Maybe Palace think that they can do what Villa did this year. You know, I genuinely think under Glasner, they're incredibly ambitious. Now, I think that will be difficult if they lose Eze and Elise. In terms of replicating that. They're looking at that Marcus Edwards to replace Elise, by the way. Don't know if you remember when we played Sporting the season before last. Marcus Edwards is decent. But what about Guehi? Well, I don't know if they'll keep Guehi or not. Guehi's on quite a few teams' radars. Devin, thank you very, very much for the $2 super chat. Where did AFC Max go? Luton Stream 2.0. Thank you very, very much, Devin. That is incredibly generous. Great job, chat. Thanks for hitting the like button. If you've hit the like button, you're an absolute legend. Villa proved that the top 4 challenge is possible. Yeah, they did. Admittedly, I think Villa's squad this season was a lot better than Palace's squad will be next season. Football fans need to understand that we're in the worst period for quality players in decades. The coming youngsters will bring back the good times. Other than Frankie de Jong or Kimmich, all others are average. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say that all players other than Frankie de Jong and Kimmich are average. Not at all. But I do think they're hard to find. I mean, I'd be very happy with Bruno Guimaraes. AFC Max pays Rory's wage in one stream and then dips for weeks. It's basically. You're not wrong. Eze is much better than ESR. Better dribbler, more explosive, and can score an assist. ESR development stagnated. Yeah, I would probably agree. I think Eze can definitely dribble better than Smith Rowe in terms of... Smith Rowe can run with the ball at pace, right? When Smith Rowe's dribbling with the ball, he's pretty much running at the same pace as when he's sprinting. But Eze is explosive. Eze will take it past 2-3 men at one point, in one go. I think Eze's shooting is probably better, especially from outside the box. I do think he probably is better. Kimmich is overrated. German Zinchenko. Ooh, that's a stinger. That is a stinger. Kimmich is better than... Kimmich is a lot better than Zinchenko, in my opinion. Would you be happy with Onana and Merino in and Partey off to Saudi with the understanding that we get a superstar forward? I wouldn't look. That situation, I'd be like, it's okay. And who is the superstar forward? Is it Viktor Gyokeres? Or is it Osimhen? The issue with that for me is that I think Onana and Merino are both the same. Like, for me, they're the extra depth. They are how we elevate the whole squad. I don't necessarily think they elevate. Like, neither Onana or Merino is better than a fit Thomas Partey. And so at that point, like, we're not actually improving our best starting 11, which is something that I think we need to do, as well as bring in. So I would want to bring in one of them and a star midfielder. Which is what I've always said about Declan Rice. If you spend 105 million on Declan Rice, you need to give him an elite partner to get the most out of the money that you spent on Rice. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what like a good example would be, but it'd be like buying a house. Like, you spend a shitload of money on a house and then you don't spend anything on the interior. Like, you drop $1 million on a house and then you get all of your furniture from, like, I don't know, IKEA, right? It's like, if you can spend $1 million on a house, you can afford nicer furniture than to build your own IKEA wardrobe. Do you know what I mean? It's to maximize what you've spent on Rice, you need to accompany him with an elite midfielder. Yeah, Merino is a proper tackler. He won more duels than any other player in Europe last season. Toby, thank you very, very much for the $2 Australian. The hate on my boy Eze is mad. His versatility. Yeah, he's incredibly versatile. He is incredibly versatile. Rory talks houses. Whoa. IKEA. That's not IKEA. Hey, that is not IKEA slander. This desk, IKEA. That shelf, IKEA. Most of the stuff here is IKEA. Do you know why it's IKEA? Because we're not living in a £1 million house. That is why. That's why this is IKEA. Is the rumor about Pedro Neto in a possibility? Seems he would be surplus or bench only for us. Well, this is the issue, though, right? Is that if we genuinely want a capable Bukayo Saka backup, whoever it is that we get, we're going to be looking at them going, well, this player's too good not to start. Well, yeah, but Bukayo Saka's ahead of them. Like, if we're looking at that player and going, yeah, they're a bench player, they're not good enough to be Bukayo Saka's backup. And that's the issue that you will always have. And it will always be difficult to find a player that's good enough to be competition for Saka, but is willing to actually sit on the bench a lot of the time. That is always going to be difficult. It will always be the problem. But we have to try. You know, Man City have done it. We have to try and do it. Gabriel was always a good defender, but when we added Saliba, it elevated Gabby to new levels. Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. That is a great example. That's a better example. That is a far better example than IKEA furniture. But they make the same point. So 500 people watching the stream. We haven't hit 300 likes yet. Run them up. 300 likes. Get them up. Why do you care if Saka gets benched? If a player comes in and plays better, why would you care? Oh, no. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, the reality is Saka isn't going to get benched. If you can name me a player in world football that is available that Arsenal could buy that would bench Saka, name them. I can't think of a name that would do that. But the point is, if they were capable of doing that, they would absolutely be joining Arsenal knowing that they were the number 2. There is not a right winger on the planet that joins Arsenal and thinks they're going to start straight away ahead of Bukayo Saka. Not only because he is Bukayo Saka, Nico Williams. Sorry? As a right winger. I mean, Nico Williams isn't even better than Saka anyway, but not as a right winger. And Rodrigo, I'd rather have Saka starting than Rodrigo personally. It'd be very close, and also Rodrigo's not available. But the point is, even if Rodrigo came in at the start, he would be a bench player to Saka. Saka is the star boy, the face of Arsenal. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. AMT, thank you very, very much for the 2 money. I'd love a great subs bench. Exactly. We all want a great subs bench. Lamine Yamal. I mean, Lamine Yamal would make a great Saka backup. Honestly, no, that was a joke. That was a joke. Did you see Sancho and Ten Hag buried the hatchet? United's downfall of the season. Yeah, well, the thing about Ten Hag and Sancho is that Sancho hasn't. The whole thing, the whole issue, the whole time was that Sancho wouldn't apologise. And from the sounds of things, he still hasn't. Because they're saying that basically they've agreed to disagree. They've drawn a line under the disagreement, which to me says Jadon Sancho has not come back and apologised. I think Ten Hag has been told by Ineos, Sancho needs to stay here and he needs to play because we spent 80 million on him and he's on insanely high wages and no one else is going to buy him. So it's either you use him or it's just a complete waste of money. I think he's been told he has to use him. I agree, but my point was that most fans don't want top players to compete with Saka due to that point. Oh, I do. I do. Because it's not just about competing with Saka. The reality is we will be incredibly lucky if Saka doesn't get some sort of injury at some point soon. Like, and when I say injury, I mean one that keeps him out for a month, 6 weeks. And if let's say we went 6 weeks between October and December without Bukayo Saka, where we're playing 2 games a week, that's 12 games without Saka in a row. Well, I want someone that's capable of replacing Saka at a level where they're competing with Saka. If they don't, then there's a massive drop-off. Richard Rios is that guy. I've seen a few people talking about Richard Rios. To be honest, I've not watched enough of Colombia at Copa America. And I don't know if he is just I don't know if this is like an international tournament thing with Richard Rios. You need to think about City's squad. Think of all the bench players who are top of their position. Yeah, exactly. That's what you've got to at least try and emulate it, right? It's very difficult to do, but you've got to try. If you don't try, there's no point. Anyway, look, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. So get your fingers on your keyboards because we are starting now. Clue number 1, this player has played for 2 Premier League clubs. Clue number 1, this player has played for 2 Premier League clubs. Clue number 2, this player scored 19 goals in 69 games for Arsenal. Clue number 2, this player scored 19 goals in 69 games for Arsenal. Clue number 3, they have won the Premier League 4 times. Clue number 3, they have won the Premier League 4 times. Clue number 4, they are a Copa America winner. Clue number 4, they are a Copa America winner. And clue number 5, they joined Arsenal in 2022. Clue number 5, they joined Arsenal in 2022. Who is the player? I'm going to make sure I don't get VAR checked. Lots of people going for Fabregas, Nasri. But I believe the winner is... The winner is Ethan Udall. Ethan Udall is the winner. It was indeed Gabriel Jesus. Jakob was second. Pekka was third. Matthew was 4th. And MC Gaming was 5th. So there you go. Ethan Udall. Congratulations. Congratulations. Didn't realize Jesus only had 19 goals for us. I know. Carter, good to see you. No worries about being late. You can categorically say you didn't win this one. Good. I love the honesty. I was above Ethan. VAR. Are we buying this VAR check? Wilsey said spot on. I don't know if anyone's buying this VAR check, Mr. I don't know if anyone's buying it, Mr. I'm having a very quick scan, Mr. But I don't know if anyone's buying this. Nah. There's no VAR. Goal given. Ethan Udall. Goal given. It is onside. Check complete. Anyway, it's time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks football community, but not as much respect as Ethan Udall currently has. This player started their career at Southampton. They started their career at Southampton. They went to Bournemouth on loan. So they went from Southampton. They had Bournemouth on loan. They went to Liverpool permanently. They then went to Brighton permanently. And they've gone to Southampton permanently. So Southampton Academy, Bournemouth on loan, Liverpool, Brighton, and back to Southampton. Who is the player? There we go. Who got it first? Who got it first? The person who got it first was Jakob. Jakob got it first. It was indeed Adam Lallana. Jakob won. VV Vlad was second. Michael was third. Ethan Udall with some questionable spelling was fourth. And Dr. Shikar was fifth. So congratulations. Big up to Jakob. Big up to Ethan Udall. Our winners. Oh, we've been VAR'd. We've been VAR'd. We've been VAR'd. Shit. Everyone's spamming it. That means I've actually been VAR'd as well. Shit. I should have just assumed Sportcat would have won. When did Sportcat say it? Wait, when did Jakob say it? Yeah. Apologies. We've been to the monitor. Goal disallowed. Offside in the build-up. Jakob, goal disallowed. Goal given. Sportcat. You hate to see it. Sportcat's dominance of Guess the Non-Gooner. Sportcat's dominance of Guess the Non-Gooner is unbelievable. Jakob, I apologize. Jakob, I do apologize. I hold my hands up for that one. That was on me. I do apologize. Sportcat, congratulations on retaining your crown or regaining your crown. Anyway, look, that is going to be the end of the stream. I do massively appreciate all of you. I mean, this is the biggest stream we've ever had in terms of viewers. Mo, Hussam, massively grateful for sending everyone over. If you've not already subscribed, I'm live at 6:30 every single day talking about Arsenal and other things. So if you could subscribe, smash a like on the video as well. I will be back later on Twitch. Description for Twitch. Link is in the description. It might be a bit late. In fact, it will be a bit late. I don't think the movie finishes until 11:15. Then I've got to get home. So Twitch stream will be there, but it will be late. But until then, I hope you all have a good evening. I'll be back tomorrow. Goodbye. Doo-doo.